found out is living in a place like that, pretty far away, you're disconnected. Collaboration's a really good idea, even with your competitors. And I did that with parts for machines and things like that with competing companies. And it sort of got built into my DNA that was a great idea. And I love efficiency, so that's the other part of it. Fast forward to Victoria, when I first came here, I found people were not that collaborative. And due to recent events, things have changed. And more people are interested in working together. So the island is a little bit like northern BC. It's surrounded by water, and we've got all these resources here, and if we're not connected, then we're missing out. So Anders and I talked about starting this after Trump started talking about tariffs, and what it meant was it was a perfect alignment, because Anders is an expert in lean manufacturing. I'm the connector guy, also interested in lean, and I'll speak a little bit more about that later, about the pitfalls of doing it yourself.
Sorry, be a little louder, Ray.
Okay.
Yeah, you're yelling. You're yelling.
I feel like I'm yelling. So yeah, maybe I'll leave it there, and please consider how this will impact your lives and your companies and your community if we start to work together.
Thank you. Whomever wishes to go next. There's no order. Yes, certainly.
Sure. I'll start head of the snake, I guess. My name's Jim Lowe. I'm with Bailey Electronics. I'm the Director of Operations. I've been with Bailey for 9 years, in manufacturing for, I don't know, a long time. I would say I initially started out my career in transportation, realized, God, that's not a field that I really like at all. But I had this, sort of growing need in me to be organized, and just everything I worked at just had to be efficient. Little did I know that there was, the lean culture out there. It wasn't until coming to the island, had experience with another company, that they took me on this lean journey. And I'm like, oh, finally, my life is making sense, because, at home, the wife would be like, why do you do this? Well, you need to have a backup of food. What if this runs out? Then you replace this. And the dishes have to be organized this way. I thought it was OCD. Thank God. So,
No surprise. That's what we're really here for.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, I get this. But a big part of it, I guess, is getting the culture. That, I find, is the probably the biggest struggle, the challenge to overcome. Implementing lean and getting the processes in is one thing, but if people don't buy into it, it's kind of hard to keep it sustained. So, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of collaboration, a lot of repetitivity, struggle on that word, to keep, implementing it. So that's kind of, I guess, where we are today. And
So, just before we go on, Bailey's been doing this for, oh gosh, how long?
I started in 2016, so I would say that would be the start of our journey. We had, the beginnings of it already. I would say it's 5S. And everybody thinks, okay, that's the lean. Well, that's kind of your housekeeping bit, and it's the entry into lean, right? So the methodology.
And are you done?
Oh, God. I would love to say that we are done. There is no such thing as done. It's, continuously learning. There's always a better tool out or a better process. My challenge to the team is when I hear, but we do it this way because of this, or we always do it this way. It's like, oh, you open the doors, now I accept the challenge. Let's see how we can do this better, right? So, yeah, you're never done in a lean journey. Yeah. It's just a gateway.
So just the other end of the spectrum, Tamara Summers couldn't be here. She's, I gotta read this, she's the Director of Business Development and Operations for Rising Tide Boat Works. And they haven't even broken ground yet. They've leased the space out in Ucluelet, and they're starting to lay out their plan for what their plant is gonna look like. They joined Vimea because they want to start right. So So look at the range here between companies, right? And I'm sure we're going to have something in the middle with these two.
And I think that's a good point too. We are building a new facility out in VITP, so the technology park. And it is all of that, like how is the flow going to be? What does it look like? To me, manufacturing is a dance. There's a flow, there's a rhythm. You just have to see it and start to feel it. I wouldn't say there's one lean practice that works. They're all tools. Pick the one that's right for you and move forward with it, right? Plan, do, check, act. That's what I would say. Keep repeating that, and you're good on improvement.
All right, well, I'm happy to go next. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly Knights, and I'm the manufacturing manager with Iris Dynamics. So we make very precision, fully integrated force feedback linear motors here on Vancouver Island. We've also been scaling extremely rapidly, especially in the last year or so, which has necessitated really rapid and careful growth and expansion of our manufacturing processes. We're a recent member of VIMIA, so the Manufacturing Excellency Alliance, and we've been really focusing on a lean implementation. Where our company has kind of centered our principles is around people-first lean, as described by Brian Tierney in his book, Lean Made Simple. Kind of the core focus of this is taking what can sometimes be a bit of a strict lean methodology and tailoring it to what works for us, making the Iris Dynamics production system, and really focusing on developing a continuous improvement culture and a no blame culture. So we blame the process, not the person, and we're encouraging everyone to give suggestions for how to make their own job easier. So kind of boiling it down, every person at our organization is a process engineer. You do your job, and you also think about how to do your job better. And we have kind of three main ways we've recently tried to encourage people to do this. We had, of course, our kickoff meeting in introducing the idea of lean to the entire company, introducing the 8 different types of waste. So lots of different ways to categorize what is wasted time in your processes, wasted moving around, things like that. Encouraging people to identify waste in their own processes, and kind of explaining that while it's something quite easy to see on a manufacturing line if you're running from station to station to grab a tool, it can also exist in the digital space if you're hunting from Google Drive to Google Drive, things like that. We've introduced a few different improvement portals. So we encourage each of our employees to think about what bugs you about your job. What is frustrating in your day-to-day work? Do you have any low-cost, easy-to-implement solutions that we could do? We have an improvement portal, so employees are encouraged to post their suggestions for improvements in there. We review it regularly. We have our continuous improvement engineer. If changes are something very easy we can do in a day with minimal cost, they'll get released and approved immediately, and they usually are. We have a lot of these very small, rapid improvements every single day, approved and implemented instantly. Anything that is kind of a larger project or anything that might take resources or need approval, we'll have reviewed weekly by our committee, and then we'll add it to our project backlog. So really encouraging our staff to make these improvement suggestions, and with that kind of promising commitment that we are reviewing each suggestion, and even if it is tabled or rejected, we're giving a good explanation, it's being considered, it's making sure that everyone's involved in this collaborative effort of improving how we make our motors. We also do a daily stand-up meeting, so that's kind of a new addition. We had quite a bit of pushback at first, but it's been a really, really excellent addition to kind of our culture, making sure people are on the same page, starting our day strong. Right now, we have our manufacturing team and our engineering team, and we've recently expanded to include a lot of our operational support members and some of the sales team as well. So we start every single morning, we have our 10-minute slot, rotating speakers, so we'll just go alphabetically in order, and we have everyone presenting the meeting differently every single day. So not only do we get a very different take on the meeting, it also helps people with their public speaking skills, making sure everyone gets to know their team members and their staff members. We make sure to highlight a few kind of key points. We make sure to highlight any improvements from the week before. So it's constantly aware in everyone's minds where we are improving and where we're making these small improvements. We also make sure to highlight, shout outs, who's helped you in the last couple days, making sure people feel valued and appreciated in their work. And then also we discuss customer activity. So keeping in mind what our customers are doing, what the impact of our work is, why we're doing what we're doing so that our customers can do what they do. And it's been great for morale. It's been great for keeping people involved in the process and making sure that they actually are submitting these improvement ideas. And kind of to build off the improvements, we have them submitted, we're implementing them, we're talking about them. We also have been using the lean aspect of Yokoten, of sharing these improvements laterally, so peer-to-peer learning. We created a channel in our company Discord called Improvements. And whenever a staff makes an improvement, from a small improvement to a really large project that's just been completed, we're encouraging folks to do a little write-up about it, have a before and after picture, a before and after video, showing what their improvement did and where that impact was, which has been a great way to have visibility, to let your fellow team members appreciate the work you're doing, and also to inspire other people to see, oh, they made this improvement in one area. Can this be applied to my department? Can this be applied to my team? And while this has kind of been a slow start for us, and we have a long way to go, it's been shocking to see how much our productivity has increased, even just with these really small day-to-day improvements. And what unique ideas we have kind of been presented with upon opening this floor to everyone and encouraging them to be safe in trying new things and to make these small improvements and share their ideas. So that's how we have been doing lean for now, and I'm very happy to be part of the Manufacturing Alliance, and I'm sure we'll be doing a lot more going forward.
Kelly, I got a question.
Yes.
How long have you been doing this?
At Iris Dynamics.
Yeah.
Just over 6 months, so I'm quite new to the organization.
So
Yeah.
you guys should be really proud because you're very conversant in everything that's associated with lean manufacturing, and so kudos to you guys for really embracing this idea. And I'm sure you're going to be able to quantify the benefit of it very soon, if not already.
Yeah, we already are.
Yeah.
Definitely already are.
Yeah,
Thank you.
amazing.
Yeah.
Gentlemen there.
You're blowing me away.
Okay.
I'm Mike Viala. I'm the owner of Viala Technologies. I started the company about 10 years ago to build custom manufacturing equipment. It was a part-time side gig while I worked at Phillips Brewery and helped them set up their manufacturing facility. And then 6 years ago, it went into full-time, and I built a machine for Rockland Scientific, and that was a really fun project. And I kind of didn't know I was going to actually be able to do this kind of business full-time and make a go of it, but we have, and we've got 6 people now. So we're the smallest company here, but we do a lot of prototyping as well. We have CNC machines and laser cutters and metal fabrication stuff. And one of our customers for making prototypes approached us, and we ended up manufacturing it grew from prototyping into manufacturing their entire product for them. They're an Australian-based company that makes machine vision systems for license plate reading. And they have a manufacturing facility in Australia, but communications between the countries is really difficult, so they ended up working with us, and now we're manufacturing their license plate reading systems for all of North America. And we've been doing that for a couple of years now. So that's the part of it where we're applying lean, because it's the most repetitive process. I find that the biggest struggles with it are maintaining processes and standards whilst you're growing a product, because they're constantly changing. And I can also identify with the people aspect of it, where it's really people focused, in trying to get them to adopt these processes and stick to them and maintain discipline in it. That's a major challenge in it.
Ray, thank you for introducing and providing the scope.
Sorry, can I have a question just for the gentleman?
Yep.
I am curious, at what point in time in lean manufacturing do you introduce that when you go from what I would call the engineer's prototype with wires and bits hanging out to a production-ready model? Is that something that you introduce at the very beginning, or is there sort of a certain phase where that introduces?
Yeah, right away, I would say. Lean just means reducing waste. And there's always ways to reduce waste. And some part of it is how to reduce waste when you're prototyping and when you're developing ideas. And that's also a real challenge. How do you introduce standards for something that's so dynamic? But yeah, we think about it right from the beginning.
Ray, what's been the lean experience at Rainhouse?
Okay, well, I think, probably Bailey's experience is the same. when we first took this on, we had no support system. We read a book, and we were interested in doing it. So for about 6 months, we went pretty hard at it, and then we went, yeah, we've solved it. We're done. And then you look a few months later, it's kind of, oh, I think things have changed. We've run a very flexible business, and so we were all set up to do one thing, but we weren't doing that anymore, and everything we implemented for that was just a waste of time. So it needs constant attention, and I think what Vimeo will do is inspire people to keep going, because you'll slow down, I'm sure. At some point, you're just going to say, yeah, it's going pretty well, and you kind of let it taper off.
Yeah.
But if you're in a group like this, I think we'll be able to visit each other's facilities, and two things happen there. One is you get re-inspired, and the other is you're getting to know those companies, and that's the opportunity that's kind of hidden, is the collaborative aspect where we can, and we do this at Rainhouse for years, is we work with other companies to get things we would never be able to do. So that's
Well, the opportunity is huge.
yeah.
The
But-
military procurement contracts coming down are huge, and our region can only compete if we work together. I've got questions. Yes, question time.
For the panel, but maybe you, Kelly, since you're involved in this right now in a big way, I'm curious, when you're instituting lean, where does the creativity piece start? Because creativity at the beginning is generally inefficient and involves waste. So how do we transition, or how do we involve that in a lean process?
I guess what we've been really trying to instill, and I've been repeating over and over again, is when people are complaining about their problems and they're complaining about what doesn't work, we're really pushing, do you have any ideas with that? Do you have any low cost, easy to implement solutions for that? And really trying to, as leaders, push my team to think about that. And maybe we have a group discussion, maybe we bounce some ideas off of each other. Just trying to make sure that every problem that's brought to the table does have a solution associated with it, and making sure that people have the tools they need to implement the changes right away. We've been slowly building just a station, with labels and tapes and scissors and just things, if you're like, I hate the way this is labeled, I have the tools to actually just change that right away. And it's a work in progress, and we're still working on it, but trying to make it, every problem has a solution, so you're not wasting a lot of energy and time just floundering, and then also just having physical things that you can make small changes really fast, and also having the support to make bigger changes. So making sure we have that defined pathway that if you want to make a bigger change, it's going to get in front of the manager who it's relevant to.
Cool. Question.
Yeah, so I'm listening, and this is very aligned with my native way of doing things. One of the Yeah, one of the places where I'm seeing that there's incredible opportunity, and I want to ask the question, where are you with this right now, is you're describing the physical objects and the interaction with those physical objects, but not the interactions between people. And the moment that someone feels judged or feels criticized or feels anything, they're going to amygdala hijack, and they stop functioning until they can re-regulate their nervous system. The kind of stuff that I do is remove that through creating lubrication between people, and I'm wondering, is that on the radar to work with people to deal with their reactivity? Because what an opportunity.
Yeah, for me, I would say when I first joined, the team, worked well, and that was it. They did their work, done, tell me what I need to do, I'll do it, and that was the culture. We implemented the same thing, we call it short interval management, so that's the morning sim, a production support huddle, then we have leadership meetings and such. So when I involved the production team to start to talk, you're going to get up today and talk about your KPIs and your metrics. They're like, no, like, it's fine. Everybody is going to go through it. So, you're breaking down that barrier of being judged, right? Because we're here all to do a work. We have a KPI that we can measure. But it's finding that lean champion. You have to have one in your team that, really gets it. I had an individual who worked well on the line. In fact, he worked too well. He was the fastest. He could do this. And I said, you know what? You're out. You're going to come over here. You're going to start building the lines. It's like, what? You're going to help the team produce, but you're going to build them what they need to get the work done. So I took him out and used his creativity to design what the line needed to move forward. So once that was going through, the team could see, okay, we get feedback, we see action. The level of engagement also stepped up. So, but that needed constant reiteration, because as you get new people joining, trying to get them into public speak per se, all you're doing is pointing at KPIs, saying the number, talking out, do we have resolution to this? Do we need to step it up? That's it. That's all I need you to do. And you can see them now maturing and, okay, yeah, we get it. Sometimes it's like, guys, 20 minutes. It's supposed to be 5 minutes. We're not having discussion. Let's dial it back. So, I think it is an evolution, and it does take time, a lot of patience, for sure.
I guess to add to that too, we're scaling really fast. We're making a lot of changes, and things are going wrong, and they're going wrong a lot. And I think we're just trying to really out loud and loudly and making sure everyone here is like, okay, how can we fix this for next time? We're really trying not to blame the people. We're trying to blame our processes, and everyone at the company is aware that our processes are evolving, and everyone's aware that we will fail. But when we do fail, it's a learning opportunity. How do we take that and try something new again and kind of continue that effort? So that's what we're trying to do as well, to make people feel a little more safe about failing, with that public broadcast that we know not every improvement is going to work, but if it does work, we have gained a lot, and if it doesn't work, we can try again.
I think to that message too, I've been telling the team, WD-40 got its name from, it took 40 attempts to be, water displacement successful. Guys, how many challenges do you think it's going to take to get this process right? So if at first you don't succeed, go again. Keep trying, keep trying.
So 2 questions, just like John.
Yeah, sure, thanks. Question for anybody. What do you do when you encounter resistance? I think when you introduce a concept to a group of people like anything, you get a range of responses where some people lean in and are literally lean in and are really excited to learn more and to take the tools that you're giving to them to make their life easier. And then on the flip side, you have people whose eyes glaze over and don't care what you have to say. Or people who are just flat out resistant and not willing to change. How do you chip away at those resistors?
Well, you get what you expect, and this is a top-down kind of thing that has to be made clear that that's the expectation, and that's backed up by things like reviewing KPIs and having check-ins along the way. So some people I haven't had happen yet, but I imagine if that happened, that person would eventually leave and go somewhere else. So as far as our company goes, we have ebbs and flows for sure in lean practices. I'd be lying if I said we were perfectly always gaining. We go backwards sometimes because things change, and things will always change in your business. And when they do, then your lean solution maybe doesn't work anymore. It actually hurts you. So it's a constant process, and the people that will drive it are the owners and the managers of the company, because people generally want to do their job, and if they have a clear way of doing it, and they know, the worst thing you can do is have no goalposts for people to reach out to. So if you have a goal and you know what it is, you can see it on a daily basis, you're going to meet it.
Yeah, I would also say that defining their job as something that their job is to improve their job, and defining that's this is what you're intended to do. It's not make vitamins or something. It's to make vitamins easier to make, and focus on that.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I found too, just kind of consistency and follow through has worked quite well. You know, nobody likes change, and I got a lot of grumblings. Like, people were not happy with the stand-up, they were not happy with the improvement portal. But I found, you know, as we just kept doing it every single day, and the people that were excited were doing a really good job, and we're making that really visible. And I was really surprised by the amount of people who had originally been really opposed to the idea kind of start to get involved, because, you know, you see these people giving these really good morning meetings, and you know, at first you're like, and then maybe next time it's your turn around, you give a little bit of a better meeting and start highlighting some more improvements. So I think just kind of keeping at it and keeping that consistency and trying to, you know, introduce things a little slower but methodically, it's been working out. It's been working out okay for us. And again, we're still quite early in the journey, but it's been good. Yeah.
I think one thing that's worked for me is I take the biggest distractor and they're on the project team. You're involved. Let me hear why this won't work. Tell me everything you have. Because eventually it's going to either, you know, they're going to come on board, they're going to start to see a few things, or they may say, you know what, this isn't me. I'm not here. And that's fine too. It's hard to accept that time, you know, having that individual walk away because you're like, I feel like I lost. But it's their level too, where they're at. Another way is bringing them through the lean journey. So single piece flow, doing the airplane folding game, the quarter game. This was a huge eye opener for our team because they said, single piece flow doesn't apply to us here. I'm like, challenge accepted. You know, let's do this. And through the timing and studies of it, they're like, oh, it actually is a bit faster. Okay. So, you know, there's a little aha moment, but you need to repeat that. I think I practice that airplane or quarter game at least every 6 months or 8 months type of deal, a cycle through, just so that people are catching on to it a bit more and just being, you know, more familiar with it.
John, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that lean manufacturing is as much about building trust as it is about building product.
I agree. Definitely.
Well, and it's also about, you know, feeling good about what you're doing. If you have clear indications of what you're supposed to do and you're meeting it, then you got to be happy with that. And my goal, I don't know about you guys, but whatever I work at, if that doesn't fit me, I'm going to go somewhere else or change it. And so I'm trying to, in our company, trying to make an environment where people are happy to come to work and they know what's expected of them and they're rewarded for that, right? So it's just basic needs of everybody that's functioning in a society is to be able to feel good about what they're doing.
Got a few questions down here. Go ahead.
Sure, yeah. I know there's a ton of ways to approach lean, and I'm really loving actually this notion of everyone being a process engineer and having everybody have some agency in it. I am curious if any of you have had experience with more professional certifications like Lean Six Sigma, for example, or whether that's worked for you or if you've looked into it or what.
Yeah, I would say one company I worked with, we went through their Lean Six Sigma certification. It was a 4-week course, very intense, so much thrown at you that, you know, I found it great, overwhelming, drinking from a fire hose, because as soon as you come back, you're like, all right, oh my gosh, there's so much here to fix. You know, that helps, I think, but setting up priorities and kind of narrowing your scope to be small little changes, that's really, I think, even the success in making it for 6 months is you can't chew it all at once. So keep making these small, identify your lean champions, get them out on the floor, and then you're facilitating and helping them or supporting them in their changes as well. Yeah, I don't know.
So we've never hired a consultant to help us. I think we're at the level now where that could actually work because we've done our very slow adoption over years, reading books, watching videos, trying things and failing and fixing them. So I think possibly that could be good for us. We've made jumps that are very small and some that are pretty big, but they cost money, right? So we automated a machine, made it run at night. It's working with a second robot. It's amazing. I love what we've done, but I'm sure there's many more things that we could be doing over time. And I can tell you this, and I just want to reinforce it: you're never ever finished with this process.
So I have my PMP. I'm a professional project manager, and so kind of taking that course and getting that credential did introduce me to the idea of Lean, to Lean Six Sigma, especially 5 Whys, Fishbone, and 5S as well. And I found that getting that baseline was very helpful for implementing Lean, especially for implementing Lean in a way that interacts well with other methodologies that other teams are using. For example, our software team is really looking to do an agile workflow, and there was a bit of concern, how is Lean going to mesh well with agile? And I think having that familiarity of both processes, it was quite easy to justify, this is actually, they're going to work really well together. Our improvements are going to go in the backlog, like everything can kind of flow and come back together very nicely. I'm also currently doing a course on Lean Six Sigma, trying to get the black belt certification, so I can report back in a couple months and see how that went. But it seems very good for kind of tying Lean back to metrics and making sure you have kind of those numerical backings of here's our baseline, here's how we get to an improvement, and here's how we measure that. So I'm looking forward to seeing kind of what this has to bring, but also curious where other people's experiences have found them.
I haven't done any formal training.
Yeah.
Before I met Anders, I was working through a whole bunch of improvements and stuff to our manufacturing, but I didn't even know that was Lean. And now when I talk to Anders, he's been coming by for a few months now to give us direction and stuff. And his big thing is don't focus on the gimmicks and stuff like that. Focus on the people and getting their creativity unleashed and giving them the opportunities to make changes themselves.
I have a question that sort of zooms out a bit from this. I'd like to know more about the Vancouver Island Manufacturing Excellence Alliance. And is it structured or is it informal? And is it open to companies, some companies do very high volume manufacturing. Other companies like ours is more sophisticated but much smaller volume type of manufacturing. Is it broad enough to cover both those types?
Yeah, I don't think I could think of any operation that couldn't use more efficient processes. So it cuts across the whole spectrum. But where I thought you were going with this is, how is this going to happen? Because we have a society that is basically funded by Anders and myself and John's sweat equity that we're building into it. And we're currently talking with South Island Prosperity to help us get funded to do this. And right now we're trying through one of these tariff relief grants. But it's a really interesting lead-in to what I was going to ask at the end, is how many people here are interested in joining the Vancouver Island Manufacturing Excellence Alliance? Could I see a show of hands? Right. Well, you already.
I know. I got to lead the charge here.
So the thing that happens when you're trying to get funding for this is you need to get at least 10% dollars coming from somewhere. And so just think about that, because that's going to be our next challenge. We've got everything locked down except for where's the money going to come from to help support it. So say we get $1 million, and we can, but we need like $100K to make it actually possible. So just think on that, and I'll get back to you. We'd be looking for sponsors, like companies that are interested in being headlined with that, or companies that just want to be members and see value in paying for getting improvements done.
And it's not onerous, the membership fees
Yeah.
likely are not onerous. See, we're at the early stages. South Island Prosperity Project, which is the ECDEV organization for the region, is really trying to have a footprint with manufacturing out on the peninsula and industry on the West Shore. And they've identified Vinley as a potential way to get that footprint on the peninsula. But we will ultimately be reacting to like customer feedback. And what customers saying is there a value proposition here? Which we think there is. I think everyone thinks there is.
So there's two ways it's gonna play out. We're either gonna be a bootstrapped organization, but we like to think lean and efficient, and I think our goal is to get funded so we can really roll this out in a quick way, because we don't have time to waste with what's going on in the world today. I think we can all agree that we could be more efficient just as a country. If you look at GDP per person in Canada, we're not great. On Vancouver Island, we're a lot worse for some reason, probably because there's a lot of retired people here. Whatever the reason, it just tells me that there's a lot of low-hanging fruit. And so we can actually rise the tide for all boats quickly. We just need the tools and the organization to get behind that.
Does that answer? Very good. Go ahead.
As you know, Ray, Dallas Gislason at SIP is brilliant in raising money. He has raised millions of dollars
Yeah.
for SIP and for.
We've told them that.
Yeah, we had a good chat with them yesterday, and so they're really trying to figure it out with us.
Yeah. And we're at no conflict here because I'm not interested in the job.
Yeah.
There will be employment with that organization if we seek funding. I am not interested in that, and neither are you. Look, if we're going after these big procurement contracts coming out of a new Canadian economy, on the island, we will not be able to get those contracts if we seek them out one by one.
Yeah.
There will need to be consortiums, and those consortiums need to talk to each other in a way that their operations are similar. And so Vimea is one of the main goals that you've sought out, Ray, is the ability to work together with a dozen companies to go after these big military procurement contracts, of which Scott might have a thing or two to say about that, because he's an expert in that. But behind you is a question.
Michael, I have a question for you, because you're one of the smallest companies. And you said that you didn't have any formal training in Lean when you started out with this. You were doing some processes yourself internally. I'm curious, I guess I could say what percentage of those internal processes that you were trying to do did you find were actually already aligned with Lean practices?
Yeah, many of them.
Okay.
Just setting up jigs and processes, and yeah, like most.
That's good. Yeah. What I was thinking is companies that might not already have Lean in place, you might not realize that some of the stuff that you're already doing might align with Lean processes already. So this, it sounds like a large leap to jump into something like Lean. It might not be as big a leap as you think it is. You might already be partly there.
Yeah. Yeah, the big awakening for me was like the way you think about the process, and that your job is like making the process better. It's not doing the thing, it's like it's doing it better. And that was a big change in thinking for me. Like, we have a prototyping shop, so we're kind of like spoiled in that way. We have piles of 3D printers and laser cutters, so any kind of jig or something we want, we can have it in a few minutes. So yeah, for me, it's like the people aspect of it is the thing I've learned from joining Vimea.
There's a question from this gentleman here.
Yeah, I can see that each of your companies are at different stages of maturity and growth. So how much resources, time, and manpower does each of you allocate typically for improvements and experimenting? Because these take time and resources too, right? Yeah. So I just would like to hear from anyone in the panel. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess time and resource, so we have we call it a manufacturing engineering team. They're the production support team to help us with jigs, identify the process. I'd say the time associated to that's interesting. Because it's just so much of our culture and the work, I don't even look at it as, this portion of it is Lean. We're just we like to call it get shit done. It's just part of the business. We work through it, do it, move on, let's go. I think as it saves time, efficiency, potentially resourcing as well. That's the one push that I've always communicated across the team was, we're not here to lower the headcount. We're here to make it efficient. I'm going to transfer this resource to another area and put it there and kind of move that team or project or whatever forward. So it's not about a headcount reduction. Never ever have I implemented Lean with that thought. It's more efficient. Let's grow. My headcount has only increased maybe 20% over 9 years. And honestly, we've tripled, our revenue. Great. And the headcount is still, marginal. But that's the key. That's the Lean journey, right? And yeah, so that's at least my experience.
Well, Kelly, you might be able to see this more clearly because you've just been starting for 6 months. So has this cost you this effort? Could you say, oh, we slowed down, or we didn't produce what we were supposed to produce in this implementation?
I would say, throughout our implementation, we've seen productivity rise. And of course, there's been some time from me and our other Lean leaders groups where we'll take, half an hour every couple of weeks we'll do a little book club discussion. We'll talk about Lean principles we've seen. We'll decide what's good for our company to use moving forward. But I feel like that time comes back to us tenfold. We really are encouraging, all of our production staff to carry out those improvements themselves, to make those changes themselves. But we do have a dedicated continuous improvement engineer, and a lot of his role is to help people make those improvements. So to make sure that if they have what they need to do it themselves, and kind of keeping on top of things to make sure things get moving and somebody's actually being accountable for those changes we're making. But yeah, I guess all in all to say that the time we've invested, I think, has come back to us tenfold. Our productivity has skyrocketed. We're producing much, much more than we were 6 months ago. It's shocking to see, and a lot of that is Lean, a lot of that is good team culture, who's to say, but it's been a very good contributing factor. And we are playing with the idea right now of rolling out actual dedicated improvement time. I think it'll be a slow rollout. I think we'll pick kind of select people and departments to start with it, but having, again, half an hour a week set aside for improvement time. So you don't feel guilty, you're not taking away from your work, it's booked into your schedule, and you kind of take that time to carefully, think about your processes, where can we improve? So that's something we're kind of looking forward to in the future, to kind of encourage that without feeling like folks are taking away from their real job. Yeah.
Okay, look, got a hard stop at 8:30. Hopefully you might hang around for a while. I'm sure a ton of networking happens after the meeting. Thank you very much to all four. Thanks to everybody. See you next month, I hope.